This week we're going to be talking about first or third pronouns. Last week we talked about first and second pronouns, which is you, your, or sorry, I, mine, to me, me, we, ours, to us, and then us. And so today we're going to be talking about the third person pronouns. In Greek it's called autos. And so what we saw with the first and second pronoun is that they had no gender, right? So ego is nominative singular second or first person. Su would be nominative singular second person. And so we see that the first and second pronouns have no gender, but the third person does. So we're going to be coming back to this idea of nouns having gender. The paradigm goes something like this, where we have autos, autou, auto, auton, and so we have nominative, genitive, dative, and accusative. And then in the feminine, we're going to have aute, autes, aute, and autain. And then, so again, we have nominative, singular, genitive, genitive, dative, and accusative. And then in the neuter, we're going to have auto, autou, auto, and auto. So what you'll notice is that in the third person personal pronoun, kind of to save space on ambiguity, the Greeks dropped the new on the auto. So we don't have the new case ending in the third person pronoun. But you can see that they function and work kind of like adjectives. We're going to see how they'll work just like adjectives. So then in the plural, because it's following a 2-1-2 pattern, we'll be able to fill in the blanks here, no problem. So then we're going to have autoi, autai, auta, auton, obviously, genitive. What do you think these next two are going to be?
Chase.
Auton.
Auton. Auton.
There you go. Let's see if you can finish the paradigm for me, Tony.
Twist.
There you are.
Autes. Autos. Autois.
There you are.
Autus.
There you go.
Autas. Auta.
So we see the paradigm here. Again, singular, plural, follows that 2-1-2 paradigm. Nothing really new about this paradigm that we're going to be learning. Functionality is going to be slightly different than what we're used to. But this is it for the third person personal pronoun. Any questions on the paradigm?
No.
Okay. So there are 3 functions for the personal pronoun. I'll write those out here shortly. And so the first one is the personal pronoun, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be the most common function, the personal pronoun. This is going to be he, she, it. So if we were to give out our English cases, we would start in the subjective, he, and then his, and then him, right?
Right.
Just with the different inflections here. And then in the feminine, she, her, and her. In the neuter, it, its, and it. So we see he, she, it, his, her, its, him, her, it. And then in the Greek, just translating the Greek, we're going to have to him, to her, to it, and then we'll do that there, her, it. So that would be the nominative, genitive, dative, and accusative. So in the Greek, we're going to find that the most common use of the third personal pronoun is to function like a personal pronoun. So we see the sentences agapo autain. So autain here, can you parse autain for me?
Is
Accusative,
accusative.
singular feminine, and it means her because it's in the accusative, her. So this sentence, agapo, is present active indicative, it's verb. Present active indicative, first person singular, meaning I love her. And so autain is the antecedent isn't here. The antecedent is the first noun that I have. So in English, it would go something like this. I am married to my wife, Debbie. Period. And then I love her. So the her is referring to Debbie, who is my wife, or who I am married to. And so the antecedent of her in this sentence is Debbie. And we're going to find that Greek has the same function as well. So the antecedent of the pronoun is going to be agreed in case, number, and gender. And so that's the antecedent there. So this is going to be the most common function, is just function as a pronoun. Nothing crazy here, nothing wonky. I can give you some more sentences that we can kind of work through. You know pistin now, yes?
As I believe, faith or believe, trust.
Yep. So auton, can you parse that for me?
Is genitive? No, it's dative.
It's genitive.
Genitive. Yeah, genitive, plural, masculine.
It could be we don't have enough context to know, but we'll go masculine here. What would be the lexical form of auton?
Autos.
Okay. So in the plural, it's going to mean
Men.
their, probably.
Or their.
So their faith is this sentence here. We don't know who the auton is talking about. We just know that it's referring to a group of people. Had we been translating, we would have known if this auton was a group of men or a group of women, or possibly a group of both. Greek will do that where they'll be referring to men and women, and they'll use typically something like that. So auton could be masculine, could be neuter, could be feminine. We don't have enough context to know, but all we do know is that they have faith. just with what we have here. So you can see in the personal pronoun how there really isn't any hardballs. You just read it, you translate it, you're done. So the second case is the adjectival pronoun. This one is what Mounts made up. So we have personal pronoun, and then we have adjectival pronoun. So Mounts did make this term up. All right. So the adjectival pronoun, as we can see, autos can function somewhat like an adjective, just in the paradigm. But what we see here is that the pronoun is in the predicate position. When we talk about adjectives, what does the predicate position look like? Do you remember?
It comes after the verb.
No.
Or
It comes before the noun. So autos ha or ho Iesus. So in this case, the autos is in the predicate position. In the adjectival or in the predicate function of the adjective, we would say something like agathos ho Iesus, which would be Jesus is good, right? Where we supply that to be verb. So in this case, we're not going to be introducing the to be verb, but it will be acting reflexively, which means we would say something like this: Jesus himself, kind of adding a little bit of an emphasis here. So when we see the autos in the predicate position, we're going to translate it reflexively. So if we saw something like no, that's there we go. So if we saw something like Lagos, well, that maybe over here actually. Lagoi or autois lagos, it'd be something like the words themselves. Is how that would come across. And so, as we've seen with adjectives, the pronoun is going to agree in case, number, and in gender of the word of the noun it's modifying. So this sentence here, autois probably tous or tois lagos would be the words themselves. And so they would be acting reflexively. And again, we don't add that to be verb. So if we saw this, we would not say the word is them or the words are them. But you would do it reflexively. When you're translating, it's going to be feeling pretty natural when you're translating it like that. Adding a to be verb is just going to make it more clumsy and very awkward. But that's the function of the adjectival. We might also see something like this. So ego autos would actually be myself, or I myself. And so we can kind of see how that would work a little bit. I think I myself would be better rather than just myself. I myself was the person who did this or that. Let me give you another one. So then we have should actually be, yes, okay. So here we have autos ho apostolos, which we would see the article here. We know our subject, the apostle himself. As we can see, that's how that's functioning reflexively. Very, very basic. You'll see it. You'll get used to it. Shouldn't cause you too much concern. But let me go ahead and give you the third one. This one is the most rare. And this one is called the identical adjective. And so we have personal pronoun where it's functioning as the he, she, it. Adjectival where he, himself, where it's functioning reflexively. I'll just write reflexively over here for you. And then we have the identical adjective. And this is one where this is where it's going to be in the attributive position. And it won't function in the substantival. It will, but it'll just be a standard personal pronoun. So we have predicate position, attributive, and even we could say substantival position, but it's not at all functioning like an adjective. So in this case, the adjective is going to be in the attributive position. And so you look at it, and this one is the most rare. And so in this sentence here, so kai palin ebelthon prasexuto auton ton logon. And so what we see here is that this sentence is, and again, after going away, he prayed. And so this is the identical, the same. Oh, there needs to be an article here. Ton auton ton logon. The same word. So when we see the third person personal pronoun in the attributive position with an article or something similar to that, we would translate that identically. So it would be saying the same thing. You'd be using the same in your translation. This one's the most rare. Again, context will tell you which one it is, which one it isn't, and you'll be able to know how this is functioning and how it's working. And so you can see these are just kind of the three basic functions of the third personal pronoun in Greek. Not a whole lot here to talk about. Very basic, very easy to use. Once you're translating, it'll all make sense. Any questions on this?
Yeah, you said, okay, so the personal pronoun is attributive to the noun?
The noun. It would be it would look like an attributive adjective, so it would be in the attributive position.
Okay.
And that's kind of what you'd be looking at. This one's the most rare, so you're not going to be translating this all the time.
So an adjectival would be the beginning of the sentence. Or not beginning, but before the subject.
No. So this one down here that I gave you was accusative singular masculine from autos, and it's modifying logon.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is the attributive position here. It's in the attributive position. In the predicate position, it's going to be where we see something like, it's the reflexive. Autos, or we could even do auttone, tone, Jesun. And this would be translated as Jesus himself. The subject would have already been stated, or you would have come across this, hopefully the subject already.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.